gods and earth is the God-born build universal, transmitter supreme science on earth and the universe. And this is God TV. Back again, family, live from planet Earth. You know what I mean? First of all, I want to thank everybody that's been tapping in. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, you know what I mean? And we can keep this thing continuing, man, getting it going around and moving around so people can get to tap in and start getting this wisdom. You know what I'm saying? And the reason I say that is because, in these times and the things that we got going on right now, we can't leave knowledge out of this, out of the equation. You know what I mean? And we all know knowledge turns into wisdom, which becomes understanding. You know what I mean? So the foundation of knowledge, we can't just push that to the side right now, and say, yeah, I know, but I'll deal with that later, or I'll deal with it later, or just accepting the consequences, you know what I mean? Of just being ignorant to how you really feel and what you really know is right and true and exact, and just not going with it, man. You know what I mean? And we don't want to do that no more, carrying on, especially through this fourth quarter into the new year. You know what I mean, family? We want to stay genuine. We want to stay true to ourselves, you know what I mean, and to our community and our loved ones, our people around us, you know what I'm saying? So that's the energy and the vibes we on, you know what I mean? And that's the whole reason why we do this, and why we put these productions together and why we come in and we put it down like we put it down, because it's all about that knowledge factor. You have to have it, man. You have to know what's going on. And I mean, what do you mean by knowledge? Well, I mean, you have to be tapped into what's going on, the current events. I know we get tired of hearing the news, and certain presidents and certain people with power got us strayed away from certain news and certain broadcasts, but we need to tap into the broadcast, take from it what you take from it, see what's going on in the world, see how the world's going, see where the stock market is. Even if you're not invested, just know where companies are going and where the jobs are, because if you think about it, back in the day, the ancestors, as they moved around the planet, you know what I mean? You would wonder, why were they really moving around the planet? Was it just to settle everywhere? Was it to explore? What was it? It was on, a lot of it was following the resources, the fishing, the hunting, you know what I mean? Things of that nature, the forestry where you could build homes, and things like that, man. You had to know where these locations were, these are the things that helped build civilization, you know what I mean? Hunting, fishing, construction of homes, all that. Those are all part of the things that build this whole civilization, that builds any civilization. Natural resource, the abundance of natural resources first. You know what I mean? But I'm saying that to say this. The knowledge is key. We all know this, but we have to put it into effect now, family. You know what I mean? I know we love to be entertained, and the whole entertainment industry, period, as far as sports, media, any type of, thing, like anything that falls under that umbrella, you know what I mean? It's like we all feel like that's our only avenue of attention and success. Not just the only way to make some money, but the only thing that we focus on and want to pay attention to. You know what I mean? And that's cool. We can all spend our time, having some fun, you kicking back, relaxing, laugh a few, watch a few serious joints, the emotional roller coaster, but you can't leave the knowledge and the wisdom and the understanding out of the equation. We have to have it. It's a critical tool to move around on this planet. And it's the things that you need, and you'll see, and we're all going to see real soon, it's going to be the major tool that we're going to need to be able to operate, because if we look at what's going on with the governments, and the governments are at each other's throats, you know what I mean? And even our government, the parties are at each other, you know what I mean? Honestly, our last president, his own party turned on him. So that party split, and they're still split from each party, So it's a lot of chaotic things going on right now. And a lot of people might say, well, I don't deal with the politics, and I don't vote, I don't do all yeah. These are the people that are running your country, that, are in charge of your family, having the resources, feeding your family, having the job and the opportunities to create resources for yourself. You know what I mean? So you can't just throw these things to the side like they don't mean anything. They're vital key in how this life operates, and you got to be tapped in, and you got to know what's going on. You got to know where the money flows. You got to know who's on top, who's in agreement, who's not, who's writing new laws and bills. You know what I mean? It might seem like a lot, but at the end of the day, these are vital things, that everyone needs to tap into. We spend a lot of wasted time just reading unnecessary materials and tapping into things that don't even make any sense, that we can't even utilize, or can't even expand us in any way. We spend a lot of time on those things. We could use time to honestly tap into something that's resourceful and useful for ourselves, to know how we can progress out here, That's all I'm really saying, man. It's time to progress. It's time to step forward, and it's time for all of us to get out of that cloud. They got us all in this cloud of, depression, and I'm stuck here. Where am I going, and all that. We all know where we're going, and that's forward, man. And the only way we do that is if we go forward yourself. The action is the only way that it happens, you know. And we know that, you know what I mean. And speaking of our ex-president, you ever notice that like they never treated a ex-president like this before. Of course, Nixon and things like that. They in trouble with the law and things, but the raids, his whole cabinet pretty much resigned. Before he even got out of office. For perjury. On the stand. Lying to the government. And people can say what they want to say about it all and make up what they want to make up. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, the facts are the facts, and the transcripts are the transcripts. And people had to resign and quit their jobs that they had for the government for a long time, and they had to quit these jobs and move on and do other things and then admit that they had lied, about the operations and the things that they were doing, man. you know and we don't look at these things, and we look at all that last election as a joke and things, but a lot of things went on, and a lot of things were revealed about where our government is at, where our government stands at this time. And it's a real crucial time, and it's a vital time, and it's a perfect time for us to grasp what we want and grasp where we want to go in life, and take what's out there, why it's out there to take it. Like what they say, get it while the getting is good, right? That's what you got to do. You got to get it while the getting is good. You know what I mean? And now is the time, family. Trust me, I'm telling you. If you look into what's going on, you look how the things are operating, you notice the perfect time to get what we need to get and take that step forward. This is chess, not checkers, all right? We trying to get it. Like I said, they at war with themselves right now, for overseas and in our within our own government, man. They don't have any control of what's going on. They choosing sides. No one trusts each other. They don't know they don't have any organization really at right now. You know what I mean? Which you seen what happened when some of the civilians rushed the Capitol. Look how easily they were able to get in there and walk around, take selfies, and they just pretty much seized this Capitol, not even militarily. Imagine if it was really militarily, what the circumstances could have been, and prayers to everybody. And I'm glad that none of that actually happened. But you can see, how they were so able to breach the perimeters, and have their way pretty much, and it's like, okay, if we're looking at this, then we got to look at now it's time for us to take the reins for ourselves, because they don't necessarily have us protected, and they definitely don't have us in our best interests. It's all about foreign relations and things going on overseas, leaving everything behind for us to fend for ourselves. So we will fend for ourselves. All right. We will get out here and get it ourselves. And I'm telling you right now, family, buckle up, be ready to take your life by the reins, like we've been saying every episode since we started. We've been showing you how to take the reins, showing you how the energies work, showing you how the minds work, showing you how the ancients thought about everything, that they had in their theologies, that pertain to us. Now it's time to activate all these things, man, and come into yourself, step out of that cloud, man, that they got us in of depression and anxiety and worry. Step out of that, man, and let's go forward and let's take what's ours right now. This is the perfect time for the checkmate. I'm telling you. That's word to the gods, all right? For real. Well, with that being said, another thing I really want to talk about today, we know a lot about what's been going on, and we talked a bunch about with the Augie, especially shout out to the Augie. We talked a lot about where the government's been going and how a lot of these, the criminal activities and how the judicial system has been handling these situations, and a lot of celebrities and superstars and just big gangs and well-known, factions, in urban areas that, that have been contained and taken to jail, and a lot of people been victimized also too. And we talked a lot about it, you know what I mean? And throughout all that, we've been looking at everything. We've been going over everything as a team. We've been checking out Fanny down in Atlanta, Georgia. We've been seeing what's been going on with Sue Surf out in Jersey. You know what I mean? We've seen what's been going on out in LA. We seen, and the whole YSL, all that that's been going on. You know what I mean? And it really made me think for a minute, because I had seen our vice president on one of the on a show and on a documentary, and she had some interesting things to say. So I just started to look her up a little bit more just to see, what she was about and where, where it was all, what besides what they told us during the election, things that had went on, in her career, her past career, and if those who don't know, you know what I mean, she was a district attorney, you know what I mean, in California, you know what I mean? And when I tapped into that, I looked at a lot of cases. She won a lot of cases. Okay. I could see why, she's up on the level where she's at because, she knew the law. She won a lot of cases. She, in their terms, she got a lot done, you know. But if you really look at it, and you really look in deep into these cases and the things that the vice president did in her past career, okay, a lot of these are gangs, black, Spanish, gangs and RICOs and indictments forever. Okay. And no, I'm not saying anything's wrong with that. I'm not saying anything's right with about it. You know what I mean? If you in that life, then you in that life. And if you're on the other side, then you're on the other side. Okay. But what I am saying is this is her track record. Okay. Her track record is, or so to speak, her forte is locking up these big busts, so to speak. All right. These big busts, big gangs, big corporations, big, just big people, just, winning these cases. That's just what she was about. That's how she built her repertoire, and that's how she got her name going, and helped her boost her up to where she's at today. You know what I mean? So if you look at it now, what's going on with Surf, YSL, dudes in Chicago, dudes in Cali, all over. There's RICOs and indictments all over the country. You get what I'm saying? There's always has, but you might say there always has been. But if you really look at it, the intensity and, they turned it up. They turned it up a notch, and not saying it's wrong, not saying it's right. I'm just giving you my opinion, of how I see it. And they turned it up, man. And you're saying they making this DA in Atlanta, in Georgia, famous. You know what I mean? And if you look at that, she is who Kamala Harris was, or our vice president was. Okay, she is who the DA of Atlanta is who of Georgia is who is our vice president was. Okay, it's all I'm saying. The relation is right there. The indictments, the RICOs, the charges, So if you really put two and two together and we put the pieces together like we always do on this channel, you know what I mean? You can see who's giving the green light, who's putting the signatures down, who's got the FBI working, who's giving the manpower and the money. See, all these investigations cost money, okay? They're not just sitting around see how long they was investigating YSL? Trust me, they didn't just sit around there for free, videotaping and tapping and listening and watching, okay? These things cost money per hour for the cops, equipment, specialists and analysts. All this costs big money, okay? So they not just, all of these states and counties, they don't always have all this kind of money to throw around on these big, high-profile investigations. That's why you don't see them happen so often. It ain't necessarily about being rich. It's necessarily about does your local authorities, is the FBI behind it or the feds behind it, or do they have the funding to take care of what's, to take care of it themselves? And if you notice, they still haven't made YSL a federal case. Okay, it's still a state of Georgia charge. So you can see the vice president behind pulling the strings like, no, we're not going to step in yet. Okay, because she's going to tell them what they can do. So she's saying, no, we're not going to step in yet. We're going to bring you up to the top because we're going to usher you right in. Okay, the Republican Party has, if you look at it, they don't have anyone strong enough because they're at war with themselves. They have no one strong enough right now to come in and run the country, or to prove that they can run the country right now. And if they do, they have to be so radical right now that they have to pretty much be like or similarities of the ex-president. All right, and everyone's afraid to do that, and they know that. That's why they going back and forth right now, because no one wants to take those shoes. No one can fill those shoes. And the ex-president made sure of that. That's why he always said he was going to come back, because he knew they weren't going to be able to fill those shoes. And it's also being tough for the Democrats to fill them shoes, at the same time, because a lot of money did go around. A lot of good things a lot of bad things happened, but a lot of good things and a lot of money was going around. And people missed that. That's the number one thing, that people look for. So, if you look at how this works, you look how it's going down, man, you can see her ties in, the vice president ties in with the DAs around the country, okay, giving the green lights to go to bust down on these gangs and the violence and the drugs and the things like that, and taking people off the street, you know. And some people might say, well, what, that ain't a bad thing. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying how the landscape looks. Okay. And if you look at that, like we said on The Streets is a Myth with the Augie, you know, we're not the producers of any of these things besides gangs, and we don't even make the guns. So someone's get where the guns are coming into us from Mexico most of the time. No disrespect to the Mexicans, but it's documented that most of these guns come up from Mexico. Okay, along with the drugs, along with everything that you catch us and send us, give us life in prison for, or give us all this time in prison for, you know, all these things are coming in from another country, you know, which we would call illegal imports. Okay, illegal imports. We all falling victim to illegal imports, you know, and there's nothing going on with that country. You're doing nothing. You know, even if someone escapes and leaves and goes to that country, you can't even go get them. Okay, you know, it's really that deep. You know, so all the drugs and the guns and the things that come in, we all know that they can't do anything about it. They're not going to do anything about it. They don't want to go to war with these cartels, but they go all the way across seas and fight these other wars. But the war that's going on with us at our border, you know, that's the only thing that I liked about what the ex-president used to say. You know, there's a war going on at our borders, you know, because this is where all these things that's creating us, all this chaos is generating from. And it's creating so much money, no one wants to stop it. Okay? I'm not saying people aren't violent. I'm not saying people ain't gonna do drugs. I'm not saying people ain't gonna kill. All I'm saying is the source of where we can make these things possible is coming from South America, the southern continents of America. Okay, and if no one's gonna address that, then there's nothing we're gonna ever do about it, and they're gonna never do anything about it. You don't even hear them stress the issue. They think because they picked up El Chapo, that ended the whole crisis. They showing you every day how fentanyl and all these other things are coming into the country disguised as candy and all these other things for our children, but you don't see them go in there. Where's no troops or no one going in to put an end to that? Because they all making money. They all getting money out of it. You see the Ozarks. They all involved, man. Where you think they getting all these opiates and all these other things for their pharmacies? They ain't the growing of it in Afghanistan and all that. They ain't got control of none of those fields anymore. You see, they left Afghanistan. You know, in Pakistan, all in the Middle East, pretty much. They ain't even down in South America nowhere, so they don't have any really control of any poppy fields or any opiates. They buying it. So they getting it from the lowest bidder. So that's why they're not gonna really go down there and do nothing to them, because it's keeping their pharmaceuticals and all these dudes rich. And these insurance companies, it all trickles down. You know, it's a pyramid, man. Just like the rain falls, man. Same way. The same way water transforms on the earth from the sky down and back up, man. It's the same way the money do. Same exact thing, man. That's what I'm saying about we got to master this. We got to know how it works. We got to know how to move, man, because they're not playing around right now. And right now they back us against the wall, but they trying to play it like it's not. It's time to checkmate. If you want it, it's time to get it, man. Take it from the God, take it from Born Universal family. I'm telling you, we've been looking as a team, dissecting what's going on, studying hours and hours and hours and seeing what's going on. It's a train off the rails. Going off the rails in the crazy train, Ozzy Osbourne, okay? That's what's happening with the government and with the people of power and the elites right now. You know, it's a war going on in the heavens, so to speak, you know? And it's time for a transition. Is you gonna be one of them people that step up and be a part of that transition, or is you gonna get whitewashed in the tidal wave, you know? And I know that anybody's watching this is here to rise up and expand from this whole situation, you know, and be able to take care of their families out of it, create generational wealth, and even just be able to be themselves and be as open as they want to be and live as freely as they may feel like they can. Okay, you get what I'm saying? So it's like this, man. So throughout all this, if you look at the parties, like I was saying before, you look at the parties, we already know there's two parties. So there's Republicans, Democrats, and independent, however you want to put it. But we got two main parties. All right. We already know they have separate outlooks on how the country should be ran. Okay. But at the very same time, they all know that they're all in it to make money. They all know that they only have certain terms, and they all know that they only going to have a certain amount of time to be in power before the other side comes in power. Okay, they all know this, they're in agreement of this. So my point is, I say that to say they're all in unison with each other. Things we feel like, they create these false enemies and make us feel like these people are are separated, and they don't agree. They don't agree on certain things out publicly, or how we should get treated. They don't agree on how the money should trickle down. That's really what it is. When you look at Republicans and Democrats, their main thing they don't agree about is how the money should flow. Okay? This one want to give it to help share the wealth. This one some of the wealth, and this one don't want to share any of the wealth. That's how it works. All right. Everything else they agree upon. Go over here for this war, fund this, get this resource, bring this here, create these prisons, continue to let the drugs and firearms come in, just so they can continue these establishments and these institutions of, criminal justice, for the institutions of criminal justice. This is all money, y'all. It's all money, y'all. Now it's our time to take ours, get ours. You see how we freed enough? COVID came in, hit us, and everybody turned into independents. And look and see how many entrepreneurs and businesses started up since then, since the pandemic, okay? There's been so many companies started and created since then. Independents, creators, business creators, it's everywhere, family. I'm telling you, this is the time to turn around and take your power that you feel, not anyone else's, but that dream or that path or that avenue you've been waiting to take. Now's the time, is what I'm saying. All right. And I'm letting you know on top of that, how things are working and what's going on right now. And if you look at what's going on with the vice president, she giving the green light on the RICOs, on the indictments, on the arrest, on the investigations, funding it all, man. All right. You might be seeing one district attorney on television right now. They making her famous because it's one of the biggest cases, but at the very same time, this is happening all over the country. We just seen the boy Susur, prayers to him, man. Prayers to him, man. And prayers to everybody that's involved, on either side, man. Because at the end of the day, we were just talking about how this thing's a whole trap and how they bring you into this anyway. And it's all about the money at the end, and they don't care who gets sacrificed at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Seriously. Seriously. We don't want to talk about Black Panther. I seen the second one's coming out, look pretty crazy, right? I can't wait to get to the movies and check that out. I hope I see some of y'all there. Don't be afraid to shout me out. Real talk. But I mean, they destroying Wakanda. You know what I mean? They get in your mind, the completion of yourself and the connection with nature and your community. You know what I mean? They totally severed any of that. You know what I mean? If you look now, look at what's going on in California, man. Shout out to and prayers to everybody in California, man, to our brothers and everyone out there, man, and anyone traveling out there. You know what I mean? Now they talking no fly, now, man, it's crazy out there now, man. And this is all just brothers on brothers at the end of the day, man. This us. They still going to, man, you think Jeff Bridges and all these dudes and Jim Carrey and all them is afraid to go to California? This don't even pertain to them, man. This us doing this to us, man. Taking us out the game and out of positions of power to be able to make any changes, man, for the community. We got to wake up. We got to snap out of this. This one we can't blame on nobody else, family. This one we can't blame on nothing on nobody else, family. Like I said earlier, the ignorance of not having the knowledge or not wanting to put the knowledge first, wanting to steady entertain and show out, and go viral and, just pull your pants down, metaphorically, just for the attention or just to try to get some way, just, get some avenue or some way out, man. And it don't get you nowhere. Stay true to yourself, man. Soak up this real knowledge that we know is a necessity. Okay? We know it's a necessity, man. And we know we got to give it to our kids too, man, because a lot of the kids that's growing up now, they missed it, man. And we see what's going on with them, man. We got to reach out to those ones that we can, and we got to get right to the other babies, man, and let them know how to maneuver around this hole in the ground, man, on your path, man, to go around that, man, and keep straight, man. Don't fall down in that hole like everybody else did, because it'll take you years to climb out. Trust me. Trust me. You'll be 17, 18 years old, man. You won't come out of that till you 30, 40 years old. You just come out the hole like, oh my goodness, this is life. What was I doing the whole time? And that's word for Boy and Bill. Take that from Boy and Bill, man, And I only say things because we've all had them experiences, man. For me, it was a while ago. but at the same time, just as critical. Trust me. You know, so I just want to tap in with the family tonight, man, because I felt it on my heart, man, and just give everybody a little knowledge of what's going on and who really behind it, because we've been watching, y'all know we've been dissecting what's going on with everybody, because the condition of our community and the human family is our main concern. Okay. So once again, I want to thank everybody for tapping in, man. Make sure y'all liking and subscribing, man. You know what I mean? Share it even on your page, man. You're more than welcome. You know, we ain't stopping nobody. We want to get the word out, man, and get people tapping in with what we tapping into, so we can form this community, man, so we can start to move forward together. You know what I mean? This ain't even about clout or any of that other stuff, man. Just putting the entertainment to the side, man, and putting knowledge first. You know what I'm saying? And it's your man, Born Bill Universal, transmitting supreme science on Earth and the universe. And it's God TV. Peace.